It's another Monday. Hello and welcome to the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, federal government suspends mining activities in Zamfara, gives foreigners 48 hours to leave as groups stage protest over perennial banditry in the states. And later on the show, Bajabia Mila gains momentum in the battle for the House of Representatives Speaker's job as North Central challenges zoning of the position to the Southwest. Babajide Kolade Otitoju is back in the house, and Charles Ideo is also with us. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. It was a bloody weekend in Nigeria, from bomb blast in Borno State to armed banditry in Kaduna State, from ethnic clashes in Taraba to abduction in Lagos and Bayelsa. It was a tale of woes in terms of insecurity in the country. But the Zamfara armed banditry conundrum raised the most dust. The killings of over 50 people by armed bandits. Some group staged protests against the carnage in Zamfara State, prompting drastic reaction from the federal government. It announced suspension of mining activities in the northwest states and ordered foreign miners to vacate sites within 48 hours. Enough should be enough by now. Babajide, I don't know. Are these miners, I want their status first. Are they legal miners or illegal miners?
Some of them are illegal miners. Some are mining with the knowledge of government. I know that former Minister of Defense, General Aliu Gusau, and former President Abdulsalami Abubakar have huge mining sites in Zamfara. So, and it is impossible
For them to be illegal miners?
for anyone to tell me that they were not aware that Abdulsalami Abubakar and Gusau are mining in Zamfara. At least the state government cannot claim that it is unaware. And prominent Nigerians, I'm sure, also know that these two prominent Nigerians are involved in mining. So, but it's possible that there are so many other people involved in the act who are doing it illegally. But if you ask me, is mining the problem? I would say no. I've been to the area. I've spoken to victims of
I remember that
banditry.
story. I remember that story. We even showed the terrain.
Yeah.
Ayo, let me tell you, there are many places. Yes, armed banditry is happening in some places where indeed you have gold. Zamfara is blessed with significant gold deposits, no doubt about that. But we always make a mistake when we are trying to attack a problem. People have argued that, oh, miners are fighting over exclusive rights to mining sites. But the killings in that area are not all related to mining.
Yeah.
People, bandits go to communities. They tell them that, look, we are coming to attack you unless you pay so amount. Bandits go to communities in Zamfara and they seize, in some cases, dozens of people, and they tell them to come and pay ransom. Bandits stay on highways, Zamfara, Sokoto highways, especially from Talata Mafara. They wait there to seize people, and they force them to pay ransom. This has nothing to do with mining. In Zurumi, where they've killed more people in the last few months, yes, they have gold deposit in Zurumi. But a lot of the activities of the bandits are not related to mining. They are simply seizing people. Remember that even Kabir Marafa lost one of his relations, Senator Kabir Marafa, recently.
Exactly.
Those guys are out there simply kidnapping people for huge ransom. Now, even what we are talking about, because we seem to think this problem is about Zamfara alone. This problem has moved into Sokoto. There are about 8 local governments in Katsina that are under the siege of bandits. And Katsina, the whole of that area, they don't have gold
No gold,
deposit.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, look at Briningwari.
Kaduna.
Briningwari had been in the news for years for consistent killing of people by bandits. Remember the story I told about the correspondent in Kaduna in 2013 when I told him to go and do a story there. That's our boy, Tessem. I don't want to say that story here because the boy has grown on the job. Even the bandits will first come and set ablaze the police station to tell you how strong they are. Then they will start stealing cattle. Remember the award-winning story that Somna Sambo did about cattle rustling across Zamfara and Katsina. It had nothing to do with mining. This thing had been there for so long. In Sokoto, Rabah local government, Isa, these are areas where, Tureta, these are areas where bandits are running riot and killing people. But they don't have gold. Sabwa in Katsina, Kankara in Katsina, Damusa in Katsina. They don't have gold, but bandits are running riot. Even you heard what the governor said the other day about that area. So this is not just simply about mining. So we can expel miners from the area and the problem will still persist if we do not address what the problem really is. It's not simply about mining. Yes, we must defeat the bandits. But to imagine that this whole thing is related to is simply about mining because a cleric spoke about it the other day, and then in a knee-jerk reaction, we felt, oh, those miners should go and all that. No, the banditry has gone beyond that. The local governments that are contiguous to Zamfara and Kaduna, where banditry is common in those two states, they are under siege. They are under siege. So this is the thing. We have to look at the problem holistically and not tell ourselves simply that, oh, it's because the people are mining, they are fighting over turf. That is a lie from the pit of hell. The people, when I visited the communities down Sabao that was attacked by bandits, they told me they came to steal their cattle and they took away their cattle. They didn't tell me they came to mine gold.
Oh, all right, Charles. Stakeholders from Zamfara State actually took to the street on Saturday, led by Kaderia, and she was like condemning the action and even condemning in strong terms the governor of the state. In fact, she described the governor of Zamfara State as the most useless governor.
That's really unfortunate.
Do you understand?
That's very strong.
So a lot of people, and she went further to call the president to look at what is happening in Zamfara State and everything. And some people are even asking that the governor of Zamfara State he cannot control police.
He already said
he cannot
I think he
control
was resigning as the chief
even though if he
security
doesn't
The
resign.
thing is, you remember, just before you answer the question,
Yes.
in Kadaria, in calling him the most
Most
useless
useless
governor,
governor.
referred to the incident where he said, oh, I'm no longer the chief
The chief security officer, yes.
He said that in anger.
Anger and
because,
frustration.
Frustration,
Yes,
because
yes.
you can't give instructions
And he's
to
obeyed.
security men on ground and expect to be
Without any
obeyed.
recourse to Abuja.
This is a man who has bought more than 520-something vehicles.
For police
For
and all of
patrol,
them, exactly.
you have more than 4,000 security men on ground in Zamfara. Yet we have not solved this problem. You can't, on account of someone being a governor being unable to. You see, security problem can sometimes rise above the capacity of a governor.
No,
in my view, look at what is happening.
Setting.
Look at what is happening in Borno State.
In Nigerian setting.
In Borno State.
That's the way we are structured.
In Borno State, look at what is happening in Borno State. Even from 2011 and all that. Will it be right to say that the governor of Borno State is the most useless in Nigeria?
Okay, let me...
Because he can't solve the problem?
Let me Charles, your intervention.
Well, you see the thing, I think we must, for record purposes, that mining didn't just start yesterday. And then I also let you know that mining in Nigeria, totally, whether gold, whether bauxite, whether all of them, they account for for just 0.03% of our GDP. So it can't be that much that had to attract attention to taking of lives. Do you understand? Unlike oil that accounts for over 90%. Gold is just, no, not even gold, mining generally. All the mineral
Whatever you are mining.
0.03% of our GDP. And what comes from there is just for issuance of titles and licenses to all these companies that are mining. So how much is coming from me that people now start taking lives? Remember before now, there was even a time, I think something last year, when the security agencies were able to recover up to about 400 something livestock, including rams, sheep, and all of them from the bandits, and they came for a reprisal attack. Remember when about no fewer than 9 farmers were felled because who were harvesting potato. These were people who...
No, you can't go to your farmers.
You can't go. So I think if we are concentrating on this issue of mining activities and being responsible, we are going to be leaving the main problem. And then it's just like someone who has malaria. They say, okay, just go and take... You are treating the drugs for malaria, drugs for tummy ache, you are using for malaria. There's no way it's going to work. So I think what we need to do is that the security agencies should just actually let us look at, using the intelligence report, let's look at what it is that the problem is. The governor that was saying that in frustration, that is no longer the chief security officer. I don't think there's any government in Nigeria even see as a chief security officer in Nigeria. No. They are all chief executive. No, they are chief executive, but not chief security officer. There are two things. Yeah. The governors are the chief executive officers of their state, but not chief security officers of their state. Because you still have recourse to the center, which Abuja. Yes. No governor can even summon any commissioner of police to say, okay, maybe there's a riot somewhere. They will take instruction from Abuja. So what we need to do is that, yes, I don't think this mining issue has existed in Zamfara for how many years? Remember that even these mining issues, it was in 1903, first of all, that when the Oyibo people were here, that they first of all came up with that mining survey of the northern protectorate of Nigeria. Then 1904, we now follow with the mining survey of southern protectorate. So mining has been part of our life, even though it doesn't attract so much attention. So I don't think mining should be at the heart of this crisis. We must look for what the remote causes are and nip it in the bud so that there will be security of life and property over there. People can no longer grow farms in Zamfara as we speak. Okay. Because they are there, they are felled by bullets for no reason at all. Because of what? Cattle rustling. And we must look at all this cattle and animal rustling as the main cause. Once we are able to deal with that, this issue of mining will not be something we have to look at.
Okay, I have the interview with the Reverend gentleman.
Wani zai tambaya wai me yasa aka mai da hankali akan jihar Zamfara din ake ta kashe mutane aka hana zaman lafiya wurin. Wato akwai wasu ne daga cikin manyan ƙasar nan. Lokacin faɗin sunan su bai yi ba amma na san su. Manya ne kuma 'yan arewa ne da suna da ra'ayi akwai arziki ne a jihar Zamfara, ana ɗiban gold, ana ɗiban kaza, akwai kayan wato arziki na ƙasa na cikin ƙasa da ake tono ma'adinai. Don haka su suke da hannu wajen ɗiban wannan kayan arziki suna fitar da su waje suna samun dukiya. Kuma abin yana da alaka da manya, shi yasa abin yake cinyewa. Suna da alaka da sojoji, suna da alaka da gwamnoni, suna da alaka da jami'an tsaro. Duk wani babba da yake wannan jihar ko yake ƙasa, in ma zai wata magana suna da wani abu da suke dan tsakura masa a bashi. Dan haka gwanda su ta kashe mutane a kasa samun zaman lafiya, su ta ɗiban arzikinsu. Yanzu kamar rikicin da aka yi ta a Borno, Sambisa da waye-waye, ai fetur ne a wurin, akwai mai ne, akwai arziki ne a wurin. So in aka bari hankali ya kwanta ba a yi ta faɗace-faɗacen nan ba, to ai hankali zai koma a ce to gwamnati ta je ta fara ɗiban wannan arziki don mutane su amfana. Duk abin da kuka ga ana yi a ƙasar nan na zubar da jini da kashe mutane, wallahi akwai hannun musulmi 'yan arewa manyan ƙasar nan, akwai hannunsu a ciki. Yanzu in ya tura sojojin ko ya tura 'yan sandan ko ya tura wani abu, to ai akwai masu ba su umarni. Su ma manyan sojojin ba suna da interest na samun kuɗi ba? Sun fi mutum 1000 nawa. Ya ce kuma bindigogin da suke hannunsu ya fi bindigogin gwamnatin kyau da sabunta. Sababbin bindigogi ne na zamani ake ba su. Soja ku da za ka shi tsohuwar bindiga ta fi shekara 40 ta mafi shi a haife, yana rataye da ita. So akwai hannun mutane manya a ciki. In za ku yi addu'a, ba wai su kaɗai masu kama mutanen ba, wallahi har manyan da suke da ra'ayi akan wannan abu su ma sai an yi addu'a kansu.
The cleric giving us a kind of insight into the Kano-based cleric, and he was talking about
The kind of weapon.
the weapon, and he was even talking about the mining being at the heart of the problem.
Yes, I'm saying that there are so many big
Big
people,
people are
big
involved.
Muslims. Well, yes, big people are involved. I've mentioned
Yes,
Abdusalami and Gusau. But you see, as we said earlier, when you want to attack a problem, you don't just focus on one area.
Holistically.
Yes,
Yes,
you have
look
to
at it
attack
holistic,
it
yes.
holistically. Because if we now, the question that you ask is, okay, how about 8 local governments in Katsina where
Have nothing to do
we've had,
with gold.
No,
No minor
they
activities.
don't have gold. And even Shinkafi is one of the worst hit local governments in Zamfara. They don't have gold deposit. So how does anyone explain that? They don't have gold deposit. There are some parts of Gusau where these bandits are running riot, and there's no gold there.
Jude, I wanted to ask you that the president, even in far away Jordan, has expressed his frustration over the spate of insecurity, and even a tweet that came out from the presidency that said, look, it will be very, very uncharitable for people to say the president is not
I don't know
pardoned.
anything about it, yeah.
But people are saying that the security architecture of Mr. President, it is time to overhaul it. But the president is just explaining, he's the commander-in-chief, he's just saying he's not happy, he's unhappy, he's unhappy. How does that affect the man that they are
How does
killing
that
his
even
family?
solve the
The
problem?
street.
That's the thing, and I can feel the frustration of people like Kadaria and Sister Zainab, who had to lead people. I remember I said on this program that we were not challenging our leaders enough, because for so long on this program we had been harping on Zamfara.
Yes, yes.
That even people from Zamfara itself, they
We've
didn't
been
even
challenging
feel,
them.
we've been challenging
We've been
them.
telling them that, why are you quiet?
Yes,
I
they
remember
refused to
several
talk.
Facebook
as if they're
posts.
happy with their people
Yes,
being
they
killed.
being killed, that's
Now,
right.
with the, it's particularly painful because the last set of killings, because Yari set up something that looks like civilian JTF in that place. And the civilian JTF decided to go and confront the bandits.
Which is not, they are not there.
So
I'm not
they
trained for
confronted
that.
the bandits, and the bandits slaughtered
Yes.
more than 50. So the anger was what prompted the rally, where Kadaria got angry and described the governor as the most useless. You can't say because a security problem, a governor has not been able to solve the problem,
he have the capacity
not
to
because
solve it?
he has not come up with ideas. You can't then say he's the most useless. Brunengwari, they've been killing people there since long, even before El-Rufai became governor.
Yes, exactly.
El-Rufai has not been able to stop the killings in Brunengwari. Neither has he been able to stop killings in Southern Kaduna. Do you then call him a useless god, the most useless? Because if you say that, I will say no. I will disagree that is even among the most useless. No. And the same thing with Borno State. The governor in Borno State is one of the best governors in Nigeria. Because I've been to the state.
Yes,
I've seen the kind of
that's right.
schools that he
Yes,
has
he has
built,
built.
in spite of the adversities that they go
The
through.
kind of exploits he would have made.
Exactly.
And
they are the
you feel the honesty when you see him crying about the problem of his people. He's been to Aso Rock. He was crying before Mr. President. He wants the problem solved, but no one has been able to solve the problem. Do you then call Kashim the most useless governor because they are killing his people? Or because, for example, his convoy was attacked and people were taken prisoner by Boko Haram? No. We must find a way to solve the problem.
I think the buck stops on the table of Mr. President.
Yes. What of the Minister of Defense? The Minister of Defense is from Zamfara. He is from bringing Magaji local government, one of the areas being attacked by bandits. He has not been. You hardly even hear him open his mouth on this matter. But he didn't come under the kind of attack that Yari received. As long as the problem has not been solved, people would want to attack the governor. But the powers of governors over security, we all know, are limited.
Very limited.
We have to be fair.
Very limited.
We have to be fair. Yes,
limited.
we have to be fair to them. None of us is happy with the killings. We have said it here a lot of times, and we challenge the government. But the government, the federal and state government, must come together and find a way to solve the problem. It is not a problem for Yari alone to solve. Let me tell you, if Yari leaves, another governor comes. If that governor is not Aladdin, there is no way he can solve the problem.
Can Aladdin even work this present situation?
What will he do? What will he do? So Masari, with all he has done in Katsina, before Masari became governor, in one day, bandits killed 110 people in Katsina. In one day, the day that Jonathan went to campaign for presidency in that state, one day, 110 people. So some of these problems have been there before even these governors. So it's not a new thing. We have to look at our federal structure. We must, if we put, although some of us are opposed to the idea of state police, because we think that the way some governors are, they will abuse it. And when you even look at the face of some governors, you know that they will abuse it. It's all mentioning their name. Some of them are notorious.
But if the laws are clean
but if they do not have, if they do not have sufficient power to control security agencies that they are funding,
then they'll be frustrated.
And they are not getting results. Then they'll be frustrated.
Yes, the way they are now.
Yeah.
So, Charles, I still take it back to Mr. President. If Mr. President is saying he's not happy, then there's fire on the mountain. Because you have the capacity to make a change in this area,
let me
to
deploy
all what you have to deploy.
Let me tell you what people who are unhappy, what they usually do in government. I'll make a reference to India. I think around 1993, there was a man called Narasimha Rao. Narasimha Rao, at that time, was the Minister of Trade and Industry. As at that time, no Indian could own a company because during what they call the permit Raj. Raj in India means regime, Raj. So the permit, for you to be able to register a company, your file must pass through no fewer than 75 desks, and you'll be paying money. So when the man now became prime minister about 4 years after, what did he do? When he was trade industry minister, he saw this. What did he attacked those ones first? So he took power from the Kaaba and gave it to the Indians. That's exactly what I expect the president to be doing right now. Rather than saying that people who are saying it's not happy, it's unfair on him, all you need to do is to make sure that you look at the security architecture of Nigeria. How are they performing? If need be, change whoever you want to change. There is a way. Look at the football game. When either the flank or a position is what you need to do is to bring somebody from the bench and then he's strengthening the whole place.
Yes. That could be the joker.
That could be the joker.
Could be the joker.
Yes. Coaches use that to the hilt.
And then the strategy must change.
Must change. So what the president needs to do is that, no matter how loyal these people
are
to him.
There was a time that they were killing people for fun.
They were,
headsmen were
I just
killing
made
people for fun
exactly.
in Benue.
In Benue State that time.
And I said it at that time. I said the president has given instruction that anybody carrying an AK-47, whether you're a Fulani from his tribe or not, that person must be apprehended.
Must go in for it.
You know, he finally solved the problem in Benue. The killing stopped.
The killing stopped.
Even Autumn had to call the president and thank
him for it.
We see, so it is possible to solve this problem.
It is.
All that needs to be done is to look at how did we solve the problem in Benue. Will that strategy apply here?
And then how will you reduce the problem in Borno too? It's being reduced.
We can't use the same strategy. We can't continue to use the same strategy if it's
all the time. That's right.
So I believe that since we've solved that problem in Benue, those constant killings no longer happen in Benue. So it is possible to defeat banditry
In Zamfara, in wherever they are.
in Sokoto, and in Katsina. But we have to be ready for a full-blown war, and our strategy has to be
Change.
tip-top strategy.
Has to change.
When we return, Gbajabiamila gains momentum in the battle for Reps Speaker's job as North Central challenges zoning opposition to the Southwest. Stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather. Welcome back. It is said that nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. It appears the coast is getting clearer for Femi Gbajabiamila to emerge as the Speaker of the Ninth House of Representatives. The current House Majority Leader is gaining momentum in his bid to land the Speaker's job. He has, in his party hierarchy, experience as a fifth-term lawmaker and a broad support base behind him for the plum job. But there are still some hurdles in the pathway for the position for Gbajabiamila. Elected lawmakers and political gladiators from the North Central are challenging the decision of the All Progressives Congress, APC, to zone the position to the speakership to the Southwest. The race is on. Gentlemen, do you know the last time we had our permutation, and with time, we started seeing tendencies from the House of Representatives and, again, tendencies from the Senate and how it will work out. Now we have some days and some weeks to June the 9th when the Ninth Assembly will be formally inaugurated. So this race has taken a new dimension, and the way people are going about, you know, jostling for positions, especially the principal officers, that the Senate leadership and the House of Representative leadership has been very, very intense. So now Femi is a fifth-time lawmaker. He lost with 8 votes in the 8th Assembly,
Yes.
narrowly to Yakubu Dogara. How are we sure that it might, what has changed?
Well, one of the things that has changed is that the person who campaigned vigorously for Dogara at that time, Honorable Abdulmomini Jibrin, is leading the campaign for Dogara now.
For
For
Gbajabiamila.
Gbajabiamila now. And if he runs that campaign with the same energy that we saw him demonstrate,
Honesty. Also,
during the last election, I expect Gbajabiamila to carry the day. I hear there are more than 12 people interested in that position. If there are 12 of them, that should even make it easier for Gbajabiamila, because he would definitely have greater support than other
The vote will be split.
contestants. Yes, they'll split the vote.
And somebody will get the last chunk.
Yes, so I know that the party leaders have made their intentions known, and they are talking to the House of Reps members elect, and trying to get them to back the choice of the party, both for Senate and the House of Reps. It is important that the party pulls in the same direction on this matter, and I expect the next few weeks to be very, very active, frenetic campaigns, because the worst thing that you can do to yourself in politics is to relax, believing that the battle is also not for you. No, you have to work hard, and the Gbajabiamila group are really working hard. You saw his declaration. About 170 House of Reps members from across the political divide came to be part of it. No one is saying that they will all vote for him. Some of them may even have come to see what was going on. But there is every sign that
He has the momentum.
He has the momentum. He's a candidate to beat.
Charles,
Yes.
when you look at what played out in 2015 and the People's Democratic Party, I gather that they are still pushing for the same strategy. They might want to use the same strategy. What am I talking about? That they want a stake. Let's say whoever is going to emerge as a speaker would have been promised, somebody would have been promised the deputy speaker, like Bukola Saraki did with Ekuremadu. And they want to have a hand in the leadership of that house.
Well, it might be pretty difficult at this dispensation. The reason is very simple. In 2015, you had several interest groups, which, of course, as at that time, were not collapsed under the APC platform. You had the NPDP interest, you had the CPC interest. So there were other splinter interest groups. As at that time, they were looming large. So it wasn't possible for APC, even though the majority in quote of the House that time, or the National Assembly, it didn't really muster that superiority over other parties because of this splinter interest group, as I said. But now, I think the APC of this dispensation is more cohesive. I mean, you can quote me. When you compare it to that of 2015, it's more cohesive, and the stakes are higher for them now. They do know that, it's winner takes all. So whatever is going to APC, at the end of the day, they find it more meaningful than when they have to start dancing and shaking, giving hand across the party lines. So in what played in 2015, as I said, the games have changed. What would I say now? Whatever you found at that time, all the perimeters, the dynamics have changed. So right now it may not be deep, but the only thing that we have to also be careful is the internal wrangling. For instance, you have about 9 of them, you have about 2 of them from Northwest. You have Namdas, who is the spokesperson of... and it's also very interested. He's from Borno State. You have another one from Adamawa State. You have one from Niger State. You have Plateau State. So these are the areas they must look at, how to close ranks to ensure that APC, indeed, they will speak with one, because when the organization or party speaks with one voice, there's always strength in what they want to do. So it is all these splinter interests that you have from this area, you have to make sure you rope them in.
Okay, I have joining us the chairman of Femi Gbajabiamila campaign. That is Honorable Abdul Mumin Jibril from Kano State. Thank you for joining us, Honorable. In 2015...
thank you very much.
In 2015, you worked for Yakubu Dogara. In 2019, you thrown your hat in the ring for Femi Gbajabiamila. What has changed? Femi contested in 2015. Now this is 2019. What has changed your impression about Femi that you are his DG right now?
Well, I have tried to answer that question repeatedly. I have said severally 2 or 3 things have changed. Age and experience. Even if you look at my hair in 2015, I have no hair, and there are no gray hairs, and I'm beginning to have gray hairs now. So we've learned a lot in between that period. But on a more serious note, in 2019, Femi Gbajabiamila happens to be the best candidate. Quote me, and nobody has contested that. Not even people who are contesting against him. He is overall the best candidate, not only APC, the entire House of Representatives can put forward for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives. He is the most experienced. He has a deep knowledge in parliamentary politics, in parliamentary work in itself. He's an all-rounder. He's a good mobilizer of people. He understands the intricacies of balancing between independence of legislature and also interdependence of legislature. And again, it is so important that at this point, we begin to lay a good tradition for our democracy and bring in civility in our democracy. Bring in global best practice. Femi rose from minority leader Today he's the majority leader. Naturally, all over the world, there shouldn't have been any contest. Nobody will contest against him. In any part of the world, in all the advanced democracies in the world, he will just transit from majority leader to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And luckily, a lot of other factors are all in his support. The zoning is favoring him. Leaders of the party are with him. If you go to merit, he is the best. So they take my words to the bank. Inshallah, Femi is the Speaker of the 9th Assembly. He will win the election. This time around, we will win.
Yes. So, Honorable Abdul Mumin, what are you doing to ensure that all of your colleagues, APC members, are pulling in the same direction on this matter? What are you doing? Then we're also hearing rumors that some PDP members are also interested in the job of Speaker. Can you throw some light on this?
Okay, on the first one, we've been working around the clock. Everybody has learned its lessons. And I used to say Femi losing the election in 2015, which was unfortunate, but it has turned out to be a big asset because we're all learning from that mistake. So we're getting around lobbying our colleagues. We've set up a campaign structure. And I don't want to sound boisterous, but with every sense of humility, I think it will be very difficult to confront the kind of campaign structure we've put in place. We are running a very clean campaign, and if you notice, Femi is not throwing abuses, he's not attacking people, we're also not attacking anyone. After all, he is going to be a speaker for the 360 members. So we're getting in touch with all the caucuses. We're also getting in touch with the leaders of members at the level of their states. And we are also putting across to our constituents across the country what Femi stands for and the kind of speaker he's going to be and the kind of reforms he's going to bring in the House of Representatives. And so I believe that this is really appealing to a lot of members. And as the Director General of the campaign, for instance, I have taken this week, I will make sure that I meet the 360 members, even though we've been meeting with them in caucuses. But again, one-on-one, we want to meet every member. And I am sure that at the end of that, we will be able to put a note, understand where our strengths are and where our weaknesses are. And just for you to also understand that on a daily basis, we are taking stock. We know how many members we have. We know how many members are on the fence. And we know how many members are against us. So we know where to put our strength and energy. We know where to consolidate. And we know where to convince people who are standing on the fence to come down. So we are running a very organized campaign. And we're also very glad that the party is complementing that by insisting that everybody should, if I must say, must follow the party instruction because that is the norms. I give you an instance. Even some members, even though I don't like putting it this way so that the PDP do not perceive it as I am attacking them, but just for the benefit of explaining this point, even the PDP, that people are saying, even though I do not agree with that the PDP will give an instruction for its members to go against any candidate that the APC leadership instructs us to vote. In itself, they are trying to exercise the power of supremacy of party because they are trying to organize their members to vote in a particular way if that is the case. So every party is also promoting the ideals of supremacy of the party. And if you can also recall, from 1999 to 2011, PDP promoted supremacy of the party, always projecting the candidate or nominating the person who emerges as speaker. Not until 2011. 2011, 2015, we went rebellion, and we've seen what it has produced. So this time around, we're calling on all the members, irrespective of their party. We all agree with one point, that Femi is the best. We all agree that Femi will do justice to every member. We all agree that Femi will do justice to every region in the country. And we are pleading to them to put aside little sentiment, because all the issues that they have against the candidacy of Femi is little sentiment. Put aside little sentiment, work for the interests of our democracy, interests of our country, and to the APC members, interests of our party.
Charles.
Okay, I'd like to ask you this, Honorable. When you look at some of his contenders, I mean, some of the contenders to the throne, let me call it throne, for instance. Usually, you know, in political aspiration, you have contenders, you have pretenders. Would you call somebody like Abdulrazak Namdas, Adamawa, Idris Wase, Plateau, the Onye Jocha of Imo State, all these people, and then there are about 9 of them. Assuming these people are not favorably disposed to the emergence of Bajabia Miller, and then they decide to now form a clique, are you not afraid that they could do damage?
Well, I will not call them pretenders, because at the end of the day, we also need their vote. And by the way, they will also vote Femi Bajabia Mila through persuasion. But the reality of the matter is that when you look at the basis of their campaign, nobody is running his campaign based on competence. Nobody is saying, I'm the best that you can put across. If you look at the chunk of them, particularly those that are coming from the Middle Belt, the point that they're making is that they have been marginalized. But again, Nigerians should learn how to research. We should all research and see these facts. There are 2 key issues. Now, when you take the Middle Belt, I said the Middle Belt, the North Central Zone. The North Central Zone has controlled the Senate for about 20 years. Between 2001 and 2007, they had the position of the Deputy Senate President. Between 2007 to 2015, they had the Senate President. No any zone in this country has had it that good. So if the North Central is saying they've been alienated in the policies of the National Assembly, it is not true. Then secondly, if we will take it to a smaller perspective, that is the House of Representatives, when it comes to the zoning, nobody will be outzoned, because there are 6 positions in this House of Representatives. You have the Speaker, you have the Deputy Speaker, you have the Leader of the House, you have the Deputy Leader of the House, you have the Chief Whip, you have the Deputy Whip. And this position will be shared between the 6 geopolitical zones. So you cannot say you have been marginalized. Even in the Senate, you have 6 positions, and they will be shared in between the 6 zones. So no any zone at the end of the day will be marginalized. And I think when we talk, we look at the narrow angle. We should concentrate on the bigger picture. In the aspect of the bigger picture, this country is separated between the North and the South. And so the North has the President and the Senate President, which is sufficient. For whatever we will claim from the northern part of the country, that is sufficient. Any attempt to take anything more will amount to greed. Are the North Central people saying they are not part of the North? Are they saying they are not part of the North? So because 1 or 2 people now need something for their own personal interest, suddenly they are not part of the northern part of the country?
Honorable,
You want to now take again the speakership again and bring it to the North? Do you really care about the stability of our country? Then, just last thing before okay. Now, the southern part of the country has the Vice President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
That's right.
Honorable Jibrin, on a final note, I will ask you that, Yakubu Dogara is somebody that some of his colleagues, according to some of them that we've spoken with and over time, they will tell you that Yakubu Dogara is accessible, Yakubu Dogara is humble, Yakubu Dogara is somebody that can accommodate his colleagues and can listen. People go to his office every time and he solves problem every time. Will a Femi Gbajabiamila speakership, will he have the time? Because there's this school of thought that Femi is aloof, that Femi is arrogant. What do you make of this allegation from some of his colleagues?
Even in 2015, one of the things that actually hurt me and Femi is because I am a friend, very, very close friend to Femi. We're actually not that close with Dogara, whom I supported in 2015. But anybody who is telling you Femi is arrogant, he has no idea of who Femi is. Yes. In fact, to some extent, we used to call Femi that when you take away the parliamentary work and his ability to do work in the to work in the National Assembly, we used to say he is a bit naive, because Femi doesn't know how to scheme. He is not a schemer. He is not a corner person. He is humble and he is straight forward. And as a person, I don't want to come as if I'm being an image maker of Femi as a person, but if you've dealt with him from close range, you know that as a human being, you will always give him a pass mark. But again, generally, it is important for us to know that we've gotten to a junction in this country where we have to face reality. We are pleading to all the people who are trying to create a bit of distraction in this process to allow peace to reign. We see people protesting, organized protests all over the country. The history of protest started from the southwest. So if you organize people in the north central protesting, what if people from the southwestern part of the country also start protesting? Then again, for the people who are contesting in the north central, now Femi already has the block vote of the northwest, block vote of the northeast, and block vote of the southwest. Take it for granted that it is now zoned to the north central. Will they expect that the people from these three zones would support them? Or only members of the north central zone, who are largely not with them at the moment, will be able to support them? So we need to be careful.
We have to leave it there.
We all need to be very, very careful. And one last thing I want to say is that, Nigerians are tired of fighting. Nigerians are tired of grandstanding. Nobody wants to see the kind of fight we've seen from 2011 to 2015 to 2019. What Nigerians want to see is governance. Nigerians want to see governance. Nigerians do not want to see a situation where a PDP man is coming to say he wants to contest for speakership. I have said it repeatedly. We could decide as majority party to also put up a candidate to contest for minority leader. How will they feel? We have the numbers, we will support him. He will function as minority leader in the floor of the House, and they can only go to court.
Thank you.
So we don't want to get to that level. We don't want to go.
Honorable, we have to leave it there. Our time is fast spent.
Femi is going to be a speaker for the 360 members.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, on the 10th
I wish you guys the best of luck.
He will be the Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Honorable Abdulmumin Jubril from Kano State, the chairman of Femi Gbajabiamila campaign organization for this House of Rep. It's getting interesting. Femi actually had a live coverage with TVC and some other station when he was declaring. And I was like, oh, this thing is so elaborate right now. Yeah. It has been taken to another level.
And even the presence of the chief whip, what's his name now? Alassane Ado.
Yes,
I mean, that's also added vent to that. I think, as Abdulmumin has said, Femi for me is ranking, right? Number two is that he has all it takes for him to be able to lead the House. If we want any progress for the National Assembly, I think we should be looking for the right pegs for the right holes. Femi, actually, for me, I'm not campaigning for him because I'm not even a member of the House. Femi appears to be a round peg in that round hole that they tend to fit.
And when you look at, in terms of achievement, the bill is sponsored.
The number of bills, that's right.
Look at this, what do you call it, estimated billing?
Estimated, that's right.
I follow him, and anytime he's making contribution in the front floor of the House,
you will enjoy him. Look at his language and all that.
Everyone listens, you know, everyone listens. When he begins to talk, you know, that's the leader. He has tremendous respect. He enjoys tremendous respect of his colleagues. I think that will make a good speaker. I think that will make a good speaker in every sense of the word. His diction is excellent.
Oh, God.
He has experience.
Polished.
He has experience.
His presentation
He's really a very, very cultured gentleman. Sometimes when you are very reserved, people can actually
See that as
mistake
arrogance.
you.
I've been aloof. Or something.
Mistake that for arrogance.
Yes.
I have met the speaker when I went to introduce my bosses to him, and my impression of him was a very good one. I don't think that what we hear out there that is arrogant, is bad, I don't think it's true. But at the end of the day, it's his colleagues who will decide who becomes the next speaker, not us. We can only help even his colleagues and other people to make the right decisions, and that's why we are doing what we are doing. So we look forward to a healthy competition for that position. No need for brickbats being thrown up and down. We want them to conduct themselves in a nice way, and by the grace of God, the best for our country, the best for our country will emerge as the Speaker of the House of Reps.
I will ask you again, some Nigerians are saying allow the parliamentarians to choose their leaders, that it's not the business of the party. And I've had to speak with some of these parliamentarians, and they've said that the buck stops on the table of the party.
Look, I always say this. I'm also going to ask, all of them who have been elected to be there. Did they not use a platform?
They use the platform of the party.
Who owns the platform?
They use the platform of the party.
That's the question you need to ask. Because if somebody held the ladder for you to get over there, you cannot say after you got there, then the relevance of the owner of the ladder, then you now say it's not. It can't happen.
It's not right.
As
Even in more established democracies, party supremacy still reigns.
Whenever you get to
leaders of political parties still get to take decisions. They still advise they do this because it's right.
For the interest of the party.
Because of their own
the
experience on the job. Their experience on the political game.
Yes.
They can say, look, this is the right way to go. And most times they are right. So
I
don't see anything wrong in the party saying, look, we are zoning this to so
follow up.
Zone. So they will still be the ones to take the decision.
So we have to leave it there.
It's not the party. They will still be the ones to take the decision. Nobody can force
anybody upon them. Yes, exactly. But they can recommend.
But they can recommend
to say, please do this for them.
They can advise. Yes. So that's what they are doing.
I agree.
Babajide, a lot of your viewers, they've been disturbing me since last week. Now you have your BKO back. Our BKO is back. The Maestro, I welcome you back.
Oh, this BKO. What will you call me? What will you call my own? This is BKO.
The IDO.
I thank God. I've been through a lot.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous.
And you just did birthday. You just did your birthday.
Sometimes we go through the pain barrier.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
to come and
it's part of life.
Come on,
but you are well now, right?
But a lot of it, the viewers may not know.
I didn't tell them.
That the rich also cry.
So are you saying I'm rich?
All right, and that's it on today's edition of Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen. And we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubahu. Bye for now, and God bless them.